Welcome to Stephen AI TV. Right, let's get straight into the court reports from Louth for this week's Scumbags of the Week. We're going to look at the small-time stuff, the cases that usually just end up as glorified parish notices to see if justice is actually being served or if the whole system's just having a laugh. Because trust me, what happens in these small cases, well, it tells you everything you need to know about the big picture.
So riddle me this. What happens when a fella who's already doing 2.5 years in the Joy decides to commit a few more crimes on the side? Huh? What's the going rate for laundering thousands of euros through your bank account? And how in God's name does a first-time shoplifter get the exact same sentence as a woman on her 11th go-around? Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, we've got a story that is a genuine head-melter. I mean, a gold-plated contender for Scumbags of the Week, and a case that'll have you seriously questioning if the word consequence has been deleted from the dictionary.
Right, let's talk about Robert Maguire. He's 47, from Dundalk, and the court itself calls him a serial offender. Now, the crucial part here is this. He was just sentenced to 2.5 years for a robbery from back in 2017. He's already behind bars.
Now get this, while he was waiting for the system to deal with that robbery, what was he up to? Well, he got caught with 50 quid's worth of cannabis. Then he and a mate decided to liberate 2 bottles of vodka from Tesco, worth another €66. So just to be clear, he's waiting on a serious sentence, and he's still at it.
And the grand prize for these extra crimes? The judge says they'll be taken into consideration with his current sentence. Let me translate that for you. No additional penalty. No extra time. It's a freebie. It's a buy one, get 2 free on crime. What kind of a message does that send? It's absolutely, utterly baffling.
All right, hold that thought, because it gets even better. Now we have a tale of 2 shoplifters. 2 completely different stories, but, as you'll see, 2 bizarrely similar endings. First up is a man whose case is wrapped up in some real, genuine personal tragedy.
Meet Chiron Austin Hill. He's 35, living at the Simon community in Dundalk. He admitted to stealing €55 worth of steak, but here's the context the court heard. His partner passed away last year. Now, he does have 8 previous convictions, but...
And this is the absolute kicker. 0. Not a single one of those previous convictions was for theft. This was his first time on the board for shoplifting. Ever.
So his sentence, 1 month, suspended for a year. He's also banned from the Marcia Shopping Center and every Dunn's in the county. On the face of it, it looks like the court is taking his circumstances into account. Seems reasonable enough, right? Well, hang on.
Now, I want you to remember that sentence, because next up is Megan Walsh. Same shopping center, same crime, but the context could not be more different.
So, Megan Walsh was found absolutely langers, giving dogs abuse to the staff at Jack & Jones and calling women walking by whores. When the Gardaí picked her up, they found 2 T-shirts worth just under 33 quid that she'd nicked, and she has 10 previous convictions.
And here's the kicker. Not just 10 previous convictions for anything, 10 previous convictions for theft. All of them. This isn't some one-off mistake for her. This is her career.
So let's just lay this out nice and simple. On the one hand, a fellow with 0 prior thefts gets a suspended sentence. On the other, a woman with 10 prior thefts gets the exact same suspended sentence. Same ban, same shopping center. The outcome is identical. Make it make sense, because I really can't.
Right, enough about shoplifting for a minute. Let's talk about the money. Straight up, fines and finances.
Here's a quick one for you. Sergis Suhaveko nicks a pair of tracksuit bottoms worth €55 from the Nike store. He gets a €201 fine, so the penalty is nearly 4 times the value of what he stole. Just remember that ratio, 4 to 1.
Because now we're jumping from a pair of trackies to some pretty serious financial crime. We've got 2 cases of young men caught washing dirty money.
Just look at this, Emmanuel Ojo. He's only 20. He laundered €7,700. He paid it back, and the judge gives him the Probation Act, which basically means no criminal record. Then you have Usman Karim, 21. He laundered $3,400. He also pays it back and gets nothing. Not even the Probation Act. He just walks away. No conviction at all. And for a quick hit, a third case, a woman named Jennifer McCann is being sent up to the circuit court for the very same thing. So this isn't a one-off, it's definitely a trend. So you take all these little snapshots from 1 week in one court, and what's the actual pattern here? What is really going on?
Well, first, you've got the classic revolving door. Maguire, Walsh, Suhevico, these aren't new faces down at the courthouse. It's bleeding obvious that suspended sentences and these poxy little fines aren't stopping them. The system isn't fixing the problem, it's just managing it. It's the same people, in and out, week after week.
Second, you can just see the desperation. You've got cases clearly driven by addiction, like with Megan Walsh, or just pure tragedy, like with Kyron Austin Hill. Look, these aren't criminal masterminds. They're people whose lives have gone completely sideways. But the price for that is always paid by the community, by the local shops that have to wear the cost of the theft.
And finally, the most jarring pattern of all, the absolute total lack of logic. You steal 55 quid's worth of clothes, you get a €201 fine, 4 times the value, but you launder nearly 8 grand and you can just pay it back and walk away with a clean slate? Where's the consistency? Where's the sense in any of this?
And that's the question I really want to leave with you. Is simply paying back laundered money enough to wipe the slate clean? What kind of a message does that send when you compare it to the hammer that comes down for a bit of petty theft? Let me know what you think in the comments.
At the end of the day, this is why we look at these small cases. This is where you see the cracks in the system, the revolving doors, the bizarre logic, the total disconnect between the crime and the punishment. This is where it all goes wrong. And you really have to pay attention to this stuff. And that's the latest from Stephen AI TV.